Good morning, everyone. I had kind of a neat, inspired thought slash concept slash theme that went through my mind last night. Usually this happens when I'm awake between like 3 and 5 in the morning. Um, I always know when it's kind of an inspired idea, which, by the way, for those who don't know, means in spirit. It means something's coming through like from the Holy Spirit, from your guides, trying to give you a new idea or a new concept or something to think about that's fun. Usually I can tell when it's inspired because it might be a thought or an idea that I wouldn't necessarily think about, but then all of a sudden I have another thought about it, another thought, and it kind of expands into this kind of fun, creative concept that then forces me to have to get out of bed, turn on the light, get a pad of paper and a pen and write it down. And everyone has this happening if you start to pay attention. So anybody, if you're like awake at night and you're thinking and you start to have like a dream or a thought, I mean, that's your guides trying to give you an idea, something to consider. So last night, it was around the game of life. And so all of a sudden, I don't know, the thought, the game of life came in my mind. And then I remembered the game from when we were young, the game of life, which from what I recall, the point of it was you had your little car, I think, and you went around the board and you would get a job and you would get children and you would get money and you would get the house. And it was kind of a game reflecting the way our typical earthly experience, the way especially that we're taught in the Western world, is presented to us. You know, we are kind of trained early on, this is what a successful life looks like. The more you acquire, the happier you'll be. For a lot of people, as we've gotten older, you start to realize that that's not necessarily the case. You could have a lot of material gains and still not feel satisfied and joyful inside. But anyway, for a lot of people though, they enjoy it. They have the boats and they have the houses and they have everything. And that's just, you know, how they are living their life. And then a lot of those people too, they'll realize there's much more to life and that love and family and companionship and relationships are what is key, whether you have the material things or not. So anyway, I was thinking about the game of life, and then I was thinking about a different way to look at the game of life, which would be more of a spiritual journey as a soul. And I was thinking back to, I was picturing kind of a blank slate, because each of us is on our own soul journey. So I was picturing just a blank board that we create before we come in. As even in the Bible, it says God knows our name, which means that we're a soul and in spirit before we come into these bodies. And then as we know, we're eternal beings. So for those who believe that, so when we leave these bodies, we go back to spirit, back to God. And so under that concept, we plan our life. We get to choose our character for this game of life that I was envisioning last night and the ideas flowing through my head. We pick our character, we pick our family, we pick the things that we want to experience in life, because we come here, I believe, to learn lessons. And it's lessons that help our soul expand in some way. And it's our soul expanding so that we can find love again. So that's how I see life. We come in, we have set up a bunch of obstacles for ourselves and challenges. Some of them could start in utero, some of them could start as a small child, some, you know, growing up. You know, some might not start till our 30s or 40s, some kind of challenge, whether it's health, relationships, family dynamic, or this or that. But I kind of believe the goal is you start off pure and clean, like a clean slate. And I picture that just like, let's just say like as a white light, you're pure. And then you start going through these life experiences. And let's say every time you have a struggle that you aren't able to really handle, that you like, you push down deep inside, something you haven't healed from, it's almost like a layer, it's like a dot, it's like a blotch, you know, on you. And as you go through life, you get different size blotches. Some are tiny, some are larger. And if you don't start to come to a point where you want to heal from these blotches, and by forgiveness, either of yourself or to another person, they just keep layering on and layering on, and to the point where you almost don't even know who you are anymore. You're just this person that's so covered up with all of this pain that you haven't released, and that's how you live your life. And you may live your life all the way until you take your last breath. And if that's the case, as soon as you take your last breath, your soul pops out and then you start your healing. And it's much easier when you're not on earth to do this healing. But how I see the game of life now is once you start to, if you believe this and you like the concept and you embrace it, then as soon as you start to think that way, you want to start releasing those hurts and those pains as soon as you can. So you want to start watching your thoughts. You know, what am I thinking? Oh, I'm thinking something negative about myself. I'm thinking something negative about my dad. I'm thinking something negative about my friend from high school. And as you start to realize that, you can pay attention and ask the Holy Spirit to say, help me heal from this. You know, I'm seeing this way, but I know that you can help me perceive this in a different way. And at first it's a lot, because if you haven't done any of this shadow work yet, you're like, whoa, I have a lot of thoughts going on in there that are negative. But once you start working on it, it gets easier and easier. And the forgiveness, you know, you just speak it, you become aware of it, you bring it out to the light, and then you ask for help in healing. And of course, some things are much bigger and deeper than others. So you start with the easy things, just start with the easy things. And so how I see it is, and everyone's game board is different, because we all came to go through different experiences. And if you recall, like even in the Bible, it says, you know, if you want to learn compassion, God doesn't just give you compassion, he's going to put situations in front of you that force you to learn to be compassionate. Same with patience, same with loving, same with forgiving. I mean, you don't just acquire those. Like, you have to earn them. You have to experience situations that help you grow in the areas that your soul wanted to grow in. So it's kind of cool when you look at life this way, because you kind of let go of victim mentality. You're like, wow, I might have wanted to experience this. I need to just trust in the bigger picture and just work on my forgiveness. Often a lot of it's for ourselves, for choices that we made and things we did. And then also against other people again. So, and you just kind of work. But the more you do that, as you move through the game and as your different squares are like building up till the end of your time here on earth, you start to clear off those layers. And then let's say that the most ideal goal, which probably is really hard to attain, would be that by the end of your life, you've done all your forgiveness work, you're back to that pure white light that you came in as, and in those last years, or however long it took you to get there, you're just getting to live in a state of love and joy and bliss and peace, and you've just let all that stuff go. And so everyone is on their own journey with their own board of life, with their own game of life, all going through their own things, completely different than everyone else, completely different challenges. Some of us have similar ones that we can share our experience, but still very personal. And so to me, the game of life, unlike the game I played when I was a child, is much more about learning who I am, where I have let myself, get these layers of blotches and stuff all over me, and now trying to release them. And then it becomes fun. Life becomes fun because you get triggered. And instead of, at first you might get mad about something for a minute, and then you're like, whoa, it's a trigger. That's a sign. I have an unhealed, blotch inside of me, and I need to work on why is that and how can I heal from that. And then, since the world is supposed to be a mirror, mirroring back to us what our thoughts are, as we let go of this stuff, the world becomes an easier place to live in. Relationships seem to improve. Life, abundance seems to flow more easily, because now love can flow through us because it's not getting all stuck in all of our layers and blotches. And so it's just kind of a fun way to look at life, because then as you start on that path, you start to release. You're moving back to a state of love from where we came. And then again, you get to enjoy more joy, peace, bliss, love, extending love out to others more, as you finish up your life in this incarnation on earth. So to me, that is the game of life. And I love that concept. It makes it fun. Anyway, I just thought I would share that inspired thought. And I encourage all of you guys to pay attention if you're awake in the middle of the night and you start having an idea where you kind of are building off of it, to know, wow, that's my guides. That's the Holy Spirit trying to teach me something, give me some fun message for myself or for others. And just write it down and kind of run with it. And just keep paying attention every night and see what you get. It's a fun way to live life. Anyway, thanks so much, y'all. Have a great day. Bye.